Thank you for that erudite talk that you gave. I was with a government university and now with Nitya University. And I can see the big difference. First thing is the bureaucracy itself. I think the negativities that are associated with any government-associated programs, by the way, I'm in the field of science. And so your first talk was very important for me when you talked about delays. So being in a private university, I see the difference. I do not know if every university works that way. But for Nitya University, I think of something today and within a couple of days or within a week, I can have the permission. I can decide to do what I want after, of course, all the deliberations that are taking place. Now, what stops the government from adopting strategies where the bureaucracy is reduced to a minimum? We need them, but we do not need them to become a hurdle to whatever you are doing. Having said that, you did speak about the land of missed opportunities. It's good to deliberate and talk about it, but do we have a solution? You think of an idea today, you apply for a project with the government, you also are aware, after all the procedures, it takes a minimum of a year. Your idea today is already raced across and you have, in this own country, people taking your ideas and then having them approved by the government much before you have put it up.
Yeah.
How do you solve the problem is a question. So I feel it's a question of justice being denied all the time. Delayed, we always had it,
yeah.
But always.
Your question is clear, madam, and
sure.
Probably on familiar grounds.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for asking that question. So let me answer it in two ways. Number one, and I've heard this from almost everyone, I myself have indulged in this, that yes, you've told us the problem, where is the solution? Now, has this phrase ever been asked of a $1 trillion corporation like Apple? Did somebody, when iPhone was not invented, ask that person, what's the solution? How do you intend to become $1 trillion? The solution need not be apparent to us right now. That's the crux. Let us not have everything with us and then move ahead. But having identified the problem itself is my reckoning, is the biggest share of what we must do. Because if we identify the problem and if we know that the government cannot possibly solve the problem, government should not be there to solve it, that's the battle won. Once it goes into a private player, it will either sail or sink. But that is the way capitalism works. We have to respect that ideology. We did not bring a solution. Some of the solutions that the youngster talked about a job. Let me talk about something which is very crucial to what you said, ma'am, which is the so-called phrase of leapfrogging. Now, I like incremental progress. Everyone likes it, especially the dentist, because then you go there, every 6 months. You don't want to go visit a dentist every 10 years, because then, I'm just saying it in a lighter vein. But something that changes a nation, its destiny, is what is called leapfrogging. Now, I am from a generation that at least has seen a phone. A generation previous to me used to wait for 3 years, the waiting line to get a phone, and that phone also would be bakelite, would be like that old ancient thing that almost looked like it's been dug up. It was an 8th century thing that has been dug up. And the youngsters would not even know what a rotary phone is. He's probably never seen the rotary phone. So back in the 80s when we were growing up and we had a phone in the house that my father got after waiting for 2 years, we thought, how on earth will every Indian household get a phone? I actually thought it, because we had only less than 1 million landlines. ये इतनी landlines कौन बिछाएगा? ये infrastructure कहाँ से आएगा? And then what happened? You had the mobile phone. That is what is called the leapfrogging. The technology came, it allowed India to leapfrog this. We did not lay down 1 billion physical lines, but 1 billion of us have now phones, sometimes 2 or 3 phones to every person. That is what leapfrogging is. So we didn't have a solution then. We thought we are going to work conventionally and it will take us 70 years to actually get everyone a phone in India. Within 7 years or 10 years, everyone had a phone. Like that, education. All of us now, at least our thinking was school-centric, university-centric. The education, we have to go to a university. Schooling, we have to go to a school. Look what COVID did. For 2 years, for 3 years, everything was online. This is what leapfrogging could have achieved. I don't know to what extent it has achieved. I haven't studied it in detail. But it has told us the future. It has told us that we really do not require 20,000, 30,000 universities to educate our population. Because by conventional means, that is the number we actually require for us to make our population, people who pass out from schools, to be educated to get degrees. So COVID has given us this as a boon, has shown us a way. We have to, of course, improve our online education, the way we go about it. We have to make it so much more interesting and interactive. But the fact of the matter is, it is only through leapfrogging and not by knowing the solution that we can move ahead. We have to be ready for it. And tell me one instance where government has leapfrogged. It has never happened. And I told you about iPhone. It was Steve Jobs and iPhone and those apps that made it leapfrog, and now every phone has that thing what Steve Jobs had. So it wasn't the government that allowed him to do it. Governments are frogs that croak in a well. Non-governments are the ones that leapfrog. Thank you.
So one problem, sir, is that when problems become conditions, then we get used to them.
Yes.
And then we don't do anything about them. We're pessimistic. But leapfrogging is an alternative. I don't know whether the decision of the government of Andhra Pradesh recently to have an agreement with Stanford University to provide online courses all the way down and all the way to the top to the students of Andhra Pradesh, whether that's an example of leapfrogging.